What's going on, Real Moves listeners? I am Jonathan Gonzalez here with...
I'm Jeff Luna.
And welcome to the Real Moves podcast. Today we have a dope guest, client of mine, friend of Jeffrey's. Been knowing this guy for a couple years
Double
now.
close.
Mr. Ravi B. Welcome.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys.
Of course,
sir.
man. Tell us a little bit about what you do. So from what I understand, you know, you're a real estate agent. You wholesale homes.
Philanthropist.
Yeah. Tell us. Let us
Do it
know,
all, man. Do it all. But
who you are, what you do.
At the moment, I'm a broker. I co-founded iValue Real Estate. So we're like pretty much an investment firm. Either we can buy from you for cash or we pretty much can list it. I mean, that's just kind of our basic, what we do. Other than that, I mean, my main focus and niche is pretty much just fixers, single family fixers. Now I'm kind of going more into multifamily now. But just fixers, just working with investors. I mean, that's just kind of what I do.
Nice.
And that's my passion.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm good at. So I kind of focus on what I'm good at, and it helps me, expand my business.
So help us a little bit understand that a little bit more. What's the process like? So you're purchasing fixers to then sell to other investors? Are you fixing them yourself? What does that look like?
The way I started is pretty much when I first got started, I don't really purchase anything. It's just pretty much wholesaling. Mm-hmm. I mean, I do it in a different way. People do it off market, on market. My niche is pretty much on market. I've wholesaled over, 75, 80 properties on market. And that's just a whole nother niche. And now, we do off market as well. So pretty much, we find a fixer, we lock it up. And when, we do our thing, we go find a buyer, put a fee on it, and we sell it.
Let's dumb it down for I understand the explanation, but let's dumb it down for people out there who don't know what you're talking about, right? So you find a fixer, you find a property that's distressed, not taken care of, right? It needs a little bit of attention. To get it up to value, they're going to need to put some money into the property, exactly. Right? So you lock it down. By locking it down, what does that mean? Is somebody signing a contract?
Pretty much, we offer a purchase contract offering to buy the property at, X,
Right.
And that number would pretty much, include the rehab cost or whatever that would already intake to get it to the ARV, which is after repair value. Yeah. So usually when we get in, when we get it accepted, I mean, if it's a great deal, we already know from the get-go, like, hey, we can put a fee on top of whatever it is.
Yeah.
But if we can, it's okay. We just kind of work our way backwards. We do a price reduction and we still sell it. Every deal is a little bit different, and we do, as of right now, Orange County, LA County, San Bernardino, and Riverside. So those are our phone. Yeah.
All over the place.
So just the 4 main counties in Southern California for us. But we're looking to expand, maybe out of state or up north. So that's a discussion that we're
more
having
opportunities
right
out there. I want to dumb that down even further, just because I have a lot of friends who listen to the podcast and they're always like, ask more questions, bro, because I don't really understand. I don't get real estate. So I'm going to give a hypothetical scenario. You stop me if I sound wrong or if this 100%. Goes wrong. All right. You find a property. Let's just say property's in the city of Cerritos. Property is a dump. It needs a lot of work. You say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Owner, I can give you $500,000 cash for the property right now as is sale. Say, okay, sure, Ravi. Shake hands, right? Sign the contract. You lock it down. You locked it down. Now, you offer to purchase that $500,000 because had you put $50,000 worth of work into it, you can sell it for $700,000. Is that correct? Like maybe
somewhere around there. So usually, if we're purchasing something for $500,000, ARV for us would have to be like $7.25 to $750. You got that $250K spread.
Right.
That spread would be determined by how much is rehab. So if it's a cosmetic, hey, it needs a good $60K. Well, right. I mean, I could pay more, but I'll still lock it up at $500. Put in. Assign it for like $540.
Yeah.
And for those listening, ARV is
after repair value.
After repair
so
value.
That's what you put it on market for. So back to the example, buy that $500, and if we know it's a cosmetic, you need $60,000. Well, I can charge somebody $40,000 more for the contract.
So you would charge, you got it for the contract for $500. You're charging me now. I'm the investor $540. And you're making $40,000 off of a signature.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We flip the contract.
Yeah,
and
beautiful.
we don't
now
touch
I got to
it.
do the work.
Yeah, you pretty much do the work, but again, it's like the way we look at it, it's like you bring them value. At the end of the day, you know, so many people have money. Investors have a ton of money.
Yeah.
Then why aren't they doing it themselves? But this is kind of what we do best. And it's a lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
It's convenience too.
It's convenience, and it's a lot of knowledge and really understanding. Like, you know, it's kind of like you're pretty much an appraiser, but you got to put on 3 hats. This is what a lot of agents don't know is like, you got to be an agent because you got to represent a client, yourself, whoever. Then you got to think like a contractor, you know, and then you got to see like, hey, like how does everybody in this scenario makes money? So if you're an agent, hey, you want to make money. So does, you know, the investor needs to make money. Well, the contractor is going to have to make money here too. So when you put a deal together, you got to put 3 hats and be like, okay, now this is ARV after all this is done.
How does everybody win in this scenario?
So the average right now, like on a small, you know, home is like, I mean, it's about 70,000 is rehab, you know.
Yeah.
Back in the day, back in the day, meaning like 2 years ago, a little bit over. I mean, you can get away with like 60,000, but now, it's about a minimum like 70. And you know, there's 3 types of money: cash, private, and hard money. All 3 of them come with 3 different costs. The best is obviously cash because, you know, you're not paying any points, you know, whatever it is. So, a buyer's threshold kind of depends on that buy, how you're financing the purchase, the investment. So again, like when you're looking at deals, looking for fixtures, you got to think like, hey, who's my investor? Who's my buyer? You know, there's deals that I lock up that I don't even call certain people because I know the numbers aren't going to make sense, but it'll make sense to him because, you know, he has a better threshold.
Yeah.
You know,
so you've gotten to know your clients pretty well.
I mean, I know who to call, where, when, you know, and they know when the call comes. It's like, okay, that's something probably worth, you know, looking at.
Now, here's the crazy part. Okay. I know what wholesaling is.
Yeah.
I think the most impressive part about what you've done is when I first heard about wholesaling, right away I thought, okay, off market, right? It's all done off market. In-house gentleman deal, right? Found some older person or some fixer that needed a ton of work, and it's all behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Now, when you said you were doing it on market, I was like, how the hell are you doing it on market? Because there's so much competition.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm competing every day.
And I'm just like, bro, how? And then the other most impressive part is you said you've done about, 80 deals?
Well, altogether within the last probably 2 years, I've probably done over 100 transactions.
2 years, okay.
Fix and flip.
That is crazy. No, I'm serious. So
Fixers,
on market wholesale deals, that's crazy.
For the listener, I want to take that further. These are properties that are on the market that are open to the public to see, and you're coming and convincing these guys like, this is what your property is worth.
It's an art of its own, in my opinion, because, you know, there's a gatekeeper, in my opinion. The gatekeeper is the agent. How do you push through that to get to the seller and put the whole deal together? In my opinion,
double close.
A buyer's agent like me, myself, or, you know, where I'm representing or I'm trying to go after a deal, I'm more valuable to a seller than their own listing agent, because anybody can put a house up for sale, but can you get it sold?
Yep.
You know, so like that's what I mean, like, you know, there's negotiations, but then there's like a different type of negotiations where you help the agent understand, like, hey, you know, do you know what a 2x4 is? Well, so a lot of times they don't. Well, let me explain to you, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just, you know, just doing your thing, but that comes with so much like experience of like, you know, when I got started, like I didn't know a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
I went on Home Depot, do research and learn, because how else am I going to know? Because I can't walk in a property, do a walkthrough, and if I'm going to sell it to an investor, I better know what I'm talking about. Because, you know, a lot of times you want to walk them through this and that because, again, you're trying to make a sale here.
Right.
So, you know, I tell these agents too, well, if you don't know, it's okay, but goes on Lowe's.com, HomeDepot.com and learn. That's free. You know, and you got to walk properties. The more you walk is when you can kind of put a layout together. If you can't put a layout together, it's like, okay, well, go get a feel for it. You know, see what you can do here. What's a, you know, raised foundation? What's a slab? You know, what's a, you know, post? Like, when you know this stuff, you know what can and can't be done on a property, you know? So
So your expertise comes in because you wear a lot of hats, man. Like you're an agent.
Yeah.
You have the vision for what investor might want to do with the property, right? Like physically what it looks like, and then also knowing the numbers game and stuff like that.
And that, yeah, and just, being able to, because, when you do sell a deal, well, they're going to ask you, well, what do you think rehab is? They have their own number, but I have my own number. But I'm pretty transparent, like, hey, you're going to need 100,000 here. Like, you're going to have to gut this. And I tell them, and it's like, but it's also painting the picture, like, hey, maybe you don't need to take this wall down, leave it and do this. And I give suggestions all the time. And some take it, some don't, but it's okay. When they close on it, that's kind of their thing. But I kind of take pride in what I do and, what I bring to the table. So I'm pretty big on providing a lot of value, when I sell a deal.
Now let's take it back, okay? Because the Ravi B today was not the Ravi B back then, right? So we used to work together. We worked at CarMax.
Yeah, we did.
For car dealership. You were in the buyer's office. I was in sales. I was only there for like a year and a half, I think.
I was there for like 2 years. Yeah.
So we got our licenses at like the same time, kind of.
Yeah, I think you got yours first, and I was in the process of getting mine. And we used to talk all the time because we also went to college together for a little bit.
Cypress
College, yeah.
Well, yeah, I forgot about that too. Yeah. So obviously, when you first start in real estate, it's a struggle. I struggled.
Oh,
Everyone
man.
struggles.
It was rough.
And I remember, I think you went to Keller
Williams, yeah.
I went to Remax.
Yeah.
And I saw you from afar, right? Because everyone's trying to make it, right? But I would
Pretty
see it on
much.
social media. You would do a lot of open houses in the beginning.
A lot, yeah.
Now, I feel like it's a setup from the get-go at a lot of brokerages. Like, I feel like it's so difficult. Like, the agents just make you do the work they don't want to do, like open houses or
Pretty much.
cold call my list. And, once you get a lead, call me type thing. And it's really difficult for most people, And so you weren't obviously on the investment side in the beginning.
No.
Right? It's just like anything else. How many people we know quit?
A lot. I mean, 6 months is, within the first 6 months, most of your real estate agents quit.
Exactly. And I think for you, it could have been so easy to say, man, screw this, bro.
Yeah.
I'm out of here. Because it's that tough. I mean, it's just one of those things, dude, especially when people don't see immediate results. It's a turnoff for a lot of
Big
people.
time.
And I stuck with it. You're one of the few people that stuck with it, and not only stuck with it, but are very successful at what you do, right? Because even I know guys at Wholesale, and they're, oh man, it's tough.
Yeah.
I said, well, Robbie's killing it, bro. So, what was the turning point? Because I kind of forgot. How did you even get into wholesaling? You start off as an agent. You're at Keller. Take us back to that.
Yeah.
What was your mindset?
I forgot. Yeah. I don't have anybody that I knew that was in real estate when I got into real estate. So like a little backstory about me. I was in college, and one of the teachers was a real estate agent, and she was like, oh, like I'm doing good. I like this. And that kind of intrigued me. So I went up to her and I asked her, I was like, hey, how do I get my license? She's like, oh, go to the DRE, get your license. And I was like, okay. And I was very motivated because I've always had a passion for real estate. And,
how old were you at this time? Just
I was in
context.
Cypress College, so right out of like high school, like maybe
19.
probably 19,
Yeah, okay.
20 around there. But I just had a passion. So I knew, I was like, okay, well, let me get my license. I don't know anything about real estate. But at the time I was working 2 jobs. I was still going to school, but I was very driven to get that license, and I got it, and I was so confused. I was like, okay, well, I got my license. What do I do now?
Yep.
And when you get your license, like every brokerage wants you, like come here, come there, come here. So for me, I started calling brokerages and be like, hey, can I come work for you? Because I didn't know. And they were like, yeah, come on in. Like, I'll give you this, I'll give you that. I was like, well, this sounds good. And well, I went, and long story, I went to like 3 brokerages, and I ended up joining Keller Williams. And at the time I was very new. I didn't know anything. Like, I don't even know what a contract is, nothing. But, when I joined, they paired me up with an agent, and obviously, I wasn't getting any value. We kind of parted ways, and and at that time, I also had this thing in my head. I was like, okay, I can kind of do this alone, and I can do it. But if I were to look back, it's like, okay, maybe I should have joined a team and learn it like a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to figure this out on my own. But again, mistakes when you're young, you know, and I am still young, but just looking back.
Right.
But anyways, still trying to figure it out, kind of stayed on my own. For pretty much 3 years, I kind of was just on my own, just trying to learn as much as I can. And, you know, just asking any agent that I can help to help, you know, do you need help showings, this and that, because I was just so driven. But back to your point is, like, I think what made me stick it out for that long, 3 years, 0 transactions, and just hoping a deal would come around, was just my passion, because I truly love this. I love what I do every day. So I knew I'll catch a break somewhere, but it was getting tough. Like, I came around the 3-year mark and I'm like, dude, I don't know if I can do this, because at that time, you know, I was going to college. I ended up transferring to Cal State Fullerton. I was getting my, you know, business degree, like bachelor's degree. Yeah. And I was like, well, maybe this isn't for me, because, you know, you have those thoughts in your head, like, I don't know, you know, like, for real. Maybe this isn't for me. But something in the back of my head says just kind of stick it out. It's like, you know, one thing can change the game for me. And it was one of those things. I mean, I got a few offers from like companies to like, hey, like investment wise, come work. But I felt like I was kind of giving up on myself to like kind of see it through. And if I were to walk away from this business, I've always wanted to do it on my own terms. Like, I don't want somebody else's opinion to be like, hey, that's why I walked away, because you told me it won't be good for me. But in a way, I was a bit hard-headed. Like, I don't want to walk away. So I stuck it out. Come around pretty much 3 years, I met my partner now. He was a broker at the time, because I was looking to make a switch. At the time, he was flipping. Like, he started flipping. He was a bit busy. And well, I was like, well, because, you know, I called him and he's like, well, I'm flipping a house. I was like, all right, bet. Let me come see. Because, you know, I'm just like, all right, well.
Down to learn.
Yeah, down to learn. So he's like, yeah, come on by. And I literally got in the car, drove to Torrance. That's when he was flipping. And and I was like, okay, he is really flipping. Because I have this thing. It's like, you know, if I'm going to learn from you, I want to learn from somebody that's actually doing it. Yeah. Because everybody can talk. Yeah. There's so many people out there that can just talk. But a story. Pretty much. And learning from people that that are actually doing it, you're going to learn a lot more. So I was like, okay, well, I don't have really anything going on in my real estate business with Keller Williams. I'm like, okay, well, what is it going to hurt to make a switch? So it was a big thing, because at that same time, I was also considering maybe like, okay, 3 years, 0 deals. Should I get another job, you know? So
for the whole 3 years, you never took another job? Part-time, nothing?
Oh, I was working. I was doing, because I was with CarMax. Then I quit that and I started doing at night Domino's pizza delivery, you know, and then hell yeah, that wasn't going so grinding great. Then I started doing valet at night, because I still had to go to school, because I set myself a goal like
at the hotel, right?
Yeah, the Sheraton, yeah. Because, you know, I wanted to make sure I finished school, because, you know, it's like when you start something, make sure you finish it. And my parents gave me opportunity to, you know, bring me to this country and be like, hey, you know, and I felt like I owe that to them and myself to finish it, you know. So I did. I was never the big school guy. I got good grades, but I always knew I was more excited into like other businesses and stuff. Yeah. So, didn't close any deals. And I told myself, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to make a switch now to another brokerage. I'm going to give myself 3 months. And I'm in a lot of debt, keep in mind, at this time, because that's why I was stressed. I was very stressed, because, you know, I got a lot of debt. And at that time, I was door dashing too every night. All of 2020, pretty much, I door dash from 5 to 10 p.m. every night. And that's every night. And at that time, and my girlfriend, I barely saw her, you know, but she understood, you know, supportive.
I remember those days.
But yeah, I made the switch. I told myself I'm going to give myself 3 months. If I don't close a deal, I might be time to walk away. So I made the switch. Thankfully enough, he was, you know, flipping at the time. He's like, hey, find me a fixer. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, then he was like, I found him a fixer, first deal ever. This was, you know, 2 weeks in working with them in La Mirada. I'm like, okay, cool. I got this for like, you know, I locked it up for like $565. And I was like, hey, do you want to, like, okay, cool. I got this locked up. Do you want to buy it? He's like, well, I got 2 other projects. Maybe let's wholesale this. I'm like, wait a minute. What do you mean? at that time, I didn't even know what wholesaling was. And he was like, well, we can just sell this to another investor. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, what do we do? Because I was kind of intimidated because, you know, it's my first transaction.
Yeah.
And then, and he kind of walked me through it. He's like, hey, like, you know, let's get a price reduction. And then we will, you know, show it to a few other investors and we'll tell them it's going to be at, you know, this price. And we did. And thankfully, I got the price reduction done. We showed it to, I think, 4 investors. One of them was like, hey, I really like this. I'll pay you. I forgot at that time. I think it was like $570 or $565, which is the original price. But we dropped the price to $550.
Nice.
So we had a 15K spread and commission too. So the full deal was like $25,000, something like that.
And the journey started.
And then keep in mind, at this time, I was broke. So me making couple of thousand was like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So then and that deal ended up being like 25,000 or something, and I made my first, I think it was 10-15,000 or 10 whatever, like, you know, he kind of taught me the game. And dude, I did not, after that deal, I did not look back. I just told myself, why am I not doing this all the time? Like,
Easier said than done, but I mean,
it is, but it's just, you know, it's an opportunity that you created literally from nothing. Where there was no money involved, but I got help at the time, but we made it happen with nothing, you know? So for me, I'm like, well, open sesame, let's go, you know, like, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's, I mean.
And like, even like when I first started, dude, I mean, it was tough. I mean, I think I didn't do a deal when I first got licensed for like 7 or 8 months. And I remember I left CarMax and I'm like, okay, I got like, you know, 10, 15 grand. I calculated it. It'll last me, you know.
You budget it. You know?
It'll last me, you know, 12 months or I can make this, I can stretch it out, you know. And then that shit went quick, you know. They sold me on coaching and, you know, and I was like, fuck, dude. And the money was dwindling. And then I had a deal in escrow, but I'm like, damn, bro, like, I don't know when's the next one, right? So I'm just like, shit. So I hit up my friend at the time. His dad had a job at night, you know, so I hit him up, and I worked at night too, you know. And a lot of people don't know that, but yeah, I worked at night to supplement my income and did that. Found out that I could do both because the hours worked for me. And yeah, dude, I was, you know, it was a dirty job, I'll say that. But,
nasty.
You know, it worked, bro. I was on the roof, bro. I was on the roof at Del Taco.
I remember you telling me.
Yeah, dude. So, I mean, again, dude, a lot of people that I know, you know, they start things, they don't finish them.
They would just throw in the towel, man.
Yeah, dude. I mean, so easy to say, man, forget this, you know. Especially you, bro. 3 years without, you know, a deal, man. That's
my first check
tough.
In real estate was for $200, and that was for helping the agent out with some work. And I wasn't expecting anything, but he wrote me a check for $200, and I took a picture, and I was like, wow, 3 years and I made $200, you know. I mean, for me, it was like, okay, I made something.
Yeah.
But again, it was tough. I mean, before I did that brokerage change, at that time, I had my first deal with Keller Williams, but that's when I did that transitions. I'm like, dude, I can't do traditional. But I guess back to like what I guess took me more towards like fix and flips was like, you know, when I used to be with Keller Williams, like, you know, I would go on the MLS, not that I had any deals, but I would look to see, wow, like there's some deals going.
Yep.
And I would see these houses get flipped, but then I was like, wonder like who's buying them? Because, you know, people have this thing where, okay, there's no deals on the MLS. Okay, cool. Then who's buying? Right?
Yeah.
If there's no deals on the MLS, who's buying? So then at that time, I didn't know, again, like anything with wholesaling, none of that. I would just, you know, I would always like be very intrigued, like, hey, wow, they flipped it, but they bought it for this price. That's pretty cool. Then I started to learn what spreads look like. You know, they bought it for, you know, $650, but they're selling it for $850. So that's where I kind of learned the spreads, and I was like, okay, now that's why even when I made the transition, I wanted to go into something investment wise where it's kind of numbers. There's no emotions involved. Like in traditional real estate, it's all like, you know, it's like, oh, you know, you just have to convince people to use you. But in kind of my side of the business, it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there's no feelings involved. Numbers make sense. Pull the trigger.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, so I was more towards that way because I don't want to force anybody to work with me. I really don't. I hated that part of the business where I'm a very, outgoing, nice person, but I don't want to kind of beg for somebody to be like, hey, use me. Like, keep going behind them. Not that there's nothing wrong with that. It just wasn't me.
Yeah.
I just like to work with people that kind of appreciate me or value me for who I am. And it's just a vice versa thing, So that's what investment kind of ended up working out for me.
Because I'm sure you've had some guys that try to, mess around and, play games with you along the way. And that's just how like the investors are, a lot of them are not loyal. I think it's finding that good audience, right? Those connections that you have. And you said it earlier, when you have a deal, you already know who to call, you know, people that you have history with.
Yeah.
And
I've done a lot of deals with like, the same investors like a lot of times, but there's times when investors find me and they call me. Because sometimes, when they can't get certain deals, they look to see who closes on that deal and they call you.
Yep.
I've got relationships off that where it's like they call me and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, what's your LLC, Then I look them up. I'm like, okay, let's meet, Yeah. So it's a really cool way to kind of go about real estate, meaning like it's a niche.
Yeah.
When we get started, like, this, there's so many things. Expireds, you name it, FISBOs, but it's like, it's tough when you get first started. I always recommend like agents, like try everything, see what works for you, but go towards what you're passionate about. So like I remember we used to cold call too, like a lot, and I used to cold call expireds all day because I had no business. So that was the lowest hanging fruit where I can call somebody. I would get cussed out, but that's where I built my thick skin. Like, okay, cool. Well,
somebody say no. What's the worst that can happen? No, right?
Pretty much.
So, man, Ravi, you're doing well now, man. You got all these deals. You got 3 deals in escrow right now. You're killing it, right? Been a long time coming. You've been in the game for what, like 5 years now or so?
Probably 4, a little over 4
years. I wanna get into your even origin story because I think this will be inspiring for a lot of people who weren't born here.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your background and in terms of where you come from and where your family's from and how you even got here, to the States.
Yeah. So I come from a family of 5. Mom, dad. I got an older brother and a younger sister. We moved here when I was about 10 years old. So like back in 2008. The sole purpose, my parents wanted to just move us here or move here was, just wanted to give us a better education.
Mm-hmm. From what country?
From Sri Lanka. So I'm from Sri Lanka, very proud. Love that place. It's beautiful. Anybody get a chance to look it up, look it up. So we moved out here and, I've kind of grew up from the age of, I'd say 11 onwards. So, and then pretty much kind of went to school here, went to Cypress High School, then went to Cypress College, Cal State Fullerton, and
did you grow up speaking English when you came here?
So over there, yes, I went to an international school, and that did help when I come here, knowing English or being able to have a conversation. But there was a little bit of a gap of like understanding. But as you go along, it got better, and things are a lot better now.
Yeah, I think there's like for immigrant families, there's like you tend to see them do well, right? Because like there's not really an option for failure for you guys, right? Like there's like
I would it's funny you bring this up. I was thinking about this recently. It's not an option for failure. It's like when you see what you have, people that travel, they see everything around the world and like, wow, like how blessed you are, when you come from, places where, like the internet is something you pay for by the gigabyte or whatever, you take it very serious. Over here, we have unlimited internet. So it's just one of those things where it's like, dude, this is the land of the, whatever you want to call it, where it's like, there's so much opportunity.
Yeah.
You just got to want to work hard. Like, people here complain because they have to work hard, but dude, like
it's a blessing. Yeah, that's a privilege to be able to work hard and it takes you somewhere, where other parts of the world where you work hard and you'll be back at square one. It's like, you can't get
and you
anywhere.
get to wake up every day and, you know, you have the freedom. Like, people don't understand that freedom that you have here. It's like, you know, you don't get that in a lot of other countries. And, you know, a lot of people that come from other countries are very successful down the line or whatever it is because they just wanted more. Yeah. In my opinion, like, they just see the vision. They see like how, you know, if they work hard, there's goals, like, you know, it's doable. Yeah. All of it. I think it's so cool to see. Yeah. And a lot of immigrants have those same values. I think immigrant families, they have those strong values. I think that's dope.
That drive, man.
Yeah. Dude, yeah.
Yeah, because like you said, man, like real estate, I mean, the failure rate is so high and it's really difficult to penetrate, you know. And I think what you've done, dude, it's incredible. And what is some advice that you can give to someone? Because I know the wholesaling phenomenon right now, you hear a lot of influencers sell people on this phenomenon. You can make all this money. Yeah. And honestly, you're like one of the guys that's actually doing it. And I mean, these other guys are theory, right? You're out there doing it at a high level and pretty tough on the MLS, right?
Very.
So what's some advice you can give someone that's watching right now to break through, or kind of like what mindset should they have?
I mean, yeah, it's what I would for sure say is it's not easy, right? I mean, yeah, you close deals and that, like, it's not easy, but whatever you do, you just got to be consistent. You know, anything you do, if you're consistent and you keep at it, like, it will, your results will come, but it'll just take some time. But when you're consistent, that's reps every single day of getting better and better and better. And like, you know, people talk about having motivation. It's like, well, motivation lasts a moment. Discipline will last a lifetime. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's like, you know, my best advice is like, just, you know, back to one of the things we talked about, is go learn from somebody that's actually doing it, right? There's, like you said, there's so much gurus, you know, trying to sell you a coaching program, this and that, which is good. I mean, there's some people actually that does provide value, but there's also some people that's just kind of like out there to kind of make money from you, but they don't really give you anything.
To sell on the trend because it's trending.
Pretty much, yeah. And, you know, people, the thing about wholesaling, it's funny, people, this is something they don't talk about. They talk about all these big checks, but they don't talk about how much they spend to get those big checks.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you the truth. Like, for me, my wholesaling on the MLS that I've done, so like pretty much $0 marketing dollars. 0.
Yep.
That's all profit. Think about that.
Yeah.
But when you do off market, I mean, you got to spend money. I mean, we do off market, we spend PPC, and that's very expensive. So if you spend, you know, $15K or $20K a month on just, let's just say PPC, you to get one deal and the spread is, you know, $20K.
Yeah, you break even.
You break even. That's a lot of money.
And people don't understand too, like Google and Bing and all those other, like, they'll put you in front of the people that are searching, but doesn't mean you're going to get the lead.
No.
You're only as good as your landing page or converter that you have, right? So I know a lot of people that spend, oh, dude, I've tried PPC, it doesn't work. Well, take a look at your back end, right?
And it's history. I mean, you're like, in Southern California, it's one of the most competitive markets.
Oh, yeah.
In all of the country, you know? So it's like, what do you think your, you know, cost per click is?
It's crazy.
And what's your cost per lead?
Yep.
You know, that's if you're doing, you know, the MLS. Let's say you got cold callers, you know, trying to find you these deals or whatever. Well, you know, the best cold caller you could probably get, you know, on a decent is probably $6 per hour. Well, you can't just get one. You need 4. I mean, do the math, you know? So then everything starts adding up. So that's what, like, you know, it's easy to sell a course. It's easy to, you know, say, hey, you know, do this and this and this, but they don't tell you, you got, like, when people say, you know, you need $0 to wholesale, in a way, I mean, yeah, maybe.
When's the course coming out, bro?
You know, but you do need money.
This is gems right here. This is the course right here.
I'll buy it right now, dude.
Yeah, but like, you know, if you got time to sit there and sit on a Zoom and tell somebody what to do, it's like, well,
all that time you're spending.
Well, you're probably not doing much.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody like I tell this to, you know, guys or people that, you know, want to, like, you know, talk to me or want to learn from me, hit me up. Come join me. You know, see what I do.
You let them.
Yeah. See, I mean, I'm not trying to hide anything, but come see what I
show up.
that too. And then, see what I do, ask me questions. If I'm on the go, ask me questions. Then I can, show you on the go. But I can't just sit there and be like, hey, here's a Zoom link, let's talk.
Yeah. So many people.
What value is that?
Yeah. It's not. And that's why same thing here. I get DMs every freaking day off of TikTok. They go to my Instagram and DM me, right? Hey, I want to learn from you. Hey, this and that. Like, can I come shadow you? It's like, bro, I don't. Or they ask for Zoom calls. Bro, I don't have freaking time to sit here and give you like an hour. I don't care if I charge you $200 an hour. I don't have an hour to give. Like, and not only that, I would love to help people and let them come shadow me at a house, but I can't bring somebody and teach them at my client's listing while their homeowners are there sitting on their couch. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, oh, hey, this is Sally here. She's here learning from me. Like,
showing up in basketball shorts.
This ain't class, right? Like, I want to help as much as I can, but you can't.
And we all want to help. And like you said, you want to help them, whatever. But it's like a lot of people, they want to learn this and that, but do they really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad to say, but, a lot of people talk a big game of like, hey, I want to do this, I want to do that. But in reality, like,
where the action's at.
Like I said, motivation is for a moment and discipline is for a lifetime. And it's like,
I tell everyone, man, if you're not spending time and money at one thing for a long period of time, don't do it because you're not into it. That's how you know what you really like, right? Look at you. You spent a lot of time and money, you were in debt on one thing for 3 years and you didn't make money and you kept doing it. That's how
all I needed was
that. That's how you know.
All I needed was one check. Because I knew. I mean, I was like, dude.
If it hit, like lit a fire in you after that, huh? Like flip the switch, it's like boom.
Pretty much, yeah. Like after that deal, like you said, it's like, well, to stay at something for so long, like I said, there's a lot of passion, and whatever you do, like sometimes, sometimes people ask me, like, how do I know if something's working on or not? Well, whatever you do it for 3 months. What is 3 months? That's 1 quarter.
Yeah.
Okay. End of 3 months, switch it up. Be like, okay, maybe this is not working. But people give up too quick. They do it for 1 week, they do it for 2 weeks, and be like, this is not working. So if you're throwing down money, whatever, just give yourself enough time to see it through.
Yeah.
People don't allow themselves that.
Yeah. Even I play golf, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people want to learn how to play golf. Oh, bro, take me to the range. It's like you take them to the range and want to go to the range once. And golf, you gotta practice.
I feel like he's throwing a jab at me right now.
No, it's not. You want to start playing? I'm just saying. Hey, you did great for your first time, by the way.
Dude,
you did great. But I'm saying a lot of people, And then what's crazy is, dude, and don't be this guy. They get the nicest clubs, all nice clothes, all white. Nice club, and show up, freaking shank the ball, hit the guy right next to him. It's like, come on, bro.
Hey, I'll come play if Ravi comes. If he sucks too, I'll play.
Bro, I'm terrible.
Me and him, you give us a handicap though.
Hey, but again, dude, it's time and money, right? Time investment, money investment, long period of time. That's how you know that you're going down the right path, right? Because you're into it. Because at the end of the day, you can't force anyone to do anything.
No,
I'm not going to do it.
You could see it for somebody, but they won't see it for themselves.
No.
Yeah.
There's so many times, like, I mean, there's a few guys that I've met. I'm like, I believe in them. I truly do. I'm like, dude, you have so much potential. But they don't see it for themselves. So then you kind of like, okay, well, what else can I do?
Yeah.
You
can only tell them so much. I've been on this guy's ass I go to the gym with. He's been telling me like, oh, I want to quit my job. I don't like it, this and that. I'm like, okay, bro, like, what do you like to do? What do you want to do? He's like, I don't know, this and then he goes on telling me about, oh, my dad does construction and stuff, right? He knows everything. But he doesn't have his license. He told me, he's like, son, just get your license. I'll do all the work. All you need is the general contractor's license. I'm like, bro, that's your freaking in right there. Just apply yourself, put in a little bit of effort, spend some time and take the class, whatever it is, spend a little bit of money, get your general contractor's license and contract your dad out, and like, boom, like,
oh,
it's just,
I don't have time for that, bro.
Yeah, just apply yourself a little bit, dude. Like, it might set you back a little bit of money, a little bit of time for 6 years or six months to a year, whatever, but dude, just put that effort in. That's all it takes.
I mean, I guess at a certain age it's kind of tough, but I think when we're young, like, we have to take chances. We got to be okay with losing, For me, taking those chances for 3 years was well worth it now that I look back, thankfully, where I look back, I'm thankful I did not give up. Like, there was so many times, like you said, I could have just been like, dude, just throw in the towel.
Yeah.
But it's just, you just got to go the long distance.
Isn't
man.
a part of you glad, both of you guys, glad that you were kind of dumb and naive when you were younger? Because you wouldn't have taken that risk. Like, knowing what you know now, you probably wouldn't have taken that leap or that risk, or like spent 3 years not getting a check, right? Like, but there's that part about being younger where like you don't really know as much. So it's like
maybe a part of it is like, what do I got to lose?
Yeah.
Even
think,
to this day.
Yeah. No, I mean, looking back, so many people told me, don't do it. Get your degree, go to college, get a job, do real estate part-time, or anything. Like anything I wanted to do, like even golf. Oh, you can't make money doing golf, And then literally when I was working at golf courses, I wanted to be an instructor at one time, And a lot of people told me, oh, you can't really make money. Like, it's like, come on, bro, golf coach, And I met one of the instructors. I'm good friends with him. Follow him on Instagram. Dude, this guy's killing it. I mean, like, hundreds of thousands, of followers. And he has, like, an online course now. One of my good buddies who is my instructor, he's killing it. And I told him, I said, bro, all you got to do is go to the range and you'll get business, because he hits the ball so good. And he's just doing phenomenal, But a lot of people, like I tell everyone, don't listen to people who haven't did what you want to do. And even if they did do, like even in real estate, a lot of people told me, oh, dude, I did real estate. It's tough, bro. Don't do it. Well, again, if I would have listened to them, where would I be, right?
Yeah.
And take everything with a grain of salt. Just because it didn't work out for someone does not mean it's going to not work out for you, So I think I was always that way. Like, I just didn't really listen to the people that were around me, So I think get a mentor and find someone that's doing what you want to do, ultimately.
That's the fastest way to learn.
Yeah.
Why reinvent the wheel when you can just learn from somebody? I mean, for some people, like, it will come with a cost where some people do want to be like, hey, my time is valuable. If you want to learn from me, charge. And I think it's fair, if somebody's really providing you a lot of value, they should charge, But if you're charging, you better give, value.
Yeah, they got to have some takeaways.
But as on the other end, it's like, well, you should be, if you're serious enough, you will spend the money and, get the knowledge that you want to get. So it's a two-way thing. I see both sides. But yeah, as these days, coaching is kind of like a big thing,
Yeah.
Everybody wants to learn something.
Potential.
Yep. And a lot of people don't want to invest. They don't want to put up the money. That's how don't do it, because you'll know you're serious if you put up money, And me, look I invested in coaching. That was turned out to be bullshit, but I still did it, because I was into it,
Ravi, would you ever get into like residential or like the regular sales, or is that something you're not into?
Hell no.
Personally, not that I'm opposed to it. Like if it's a friend or like a family member that needs advice or whatever, I'll help them out because I know what I'm doing. But to be honest, no, I wouldn't want to get into that side because I love what I do so much and that's what I'm good at.
Yeah.
That's my niche. That's my focus. Like every day I wake up, I look at fixes. I don't look at any, if I see a house, that's cool. But there's not a house that hits the market that I don't see. And that's because, I make sure I know what's available.
Script, man.
Like there's a few times he's asked me, like, hey,
ahead.
That deal in La Mirada, you see it? It's like, yeah, I saw it. I already offered on it.
Saw it last week.
Every time I call him.
So tell us about that then. If you're on top of everything, what's your morning routine like then? You seem like you got shit locked down, right? You told me you go to the gym at 4:30.
Yeah.
Where do you go from there?
By the way, we got to start that accountability group again.
I'm ready when you are.
Matt Will dropped off. But let's do it.
I wake up around 4:30. I try to get to the gym by 5.
Okay.
I'm out of there by like 6:45. Come home, get ready, have breakfast, and I'm at the office by 9 a.m., which is in Santa Ana. It takes me some time to get there because I live in Cypress.
Okay.
And I'm pretty much there from like 9 to either 4 or 5. It just kind of depends if I have to go see properties. Like a day like today, I was out all day. But 9 a.m. I'm there. I'm first thing. That's like when I step in front of a computer, I'm lead genning, meaning I need to find fixers. I don't really get into my calls, emails or nothing because all that stuff can wait. But first I need to find business. So that's kind of like my morning routine to kind of get my day going. Then I just kind of, I do follow-ups. There's so many things I got to look into. And then pretty much in the evening, I just kind of go home and relax. I try to spend time with my family, you know, watch the Lakers. They're around. But yeah, man, just keep things simple. Other than that, just hang out with my girlfriend, just the day to day. But I pretty much work Monday through Sunday. Not that I have to, but I want to because
you fucking love it.
I enjoy it. Yeah. Sundays, like I used to work a lot more, like where I'm like working till the evening on Sundays. But I got to a certain point in my, I guess, career now where it's like, okay, Sundays, I do work in the morning for a few hours, but after that, it's like, you know, I take it's my time where, you know,
enjoy
catch
yourself.
up on things, family time. And I'm pretty big on family time, you know, hanging out with my family or my girlfriend. So, man.
In that time of 3 years when you were starting out, would you say you took a lot of sacrifice and didn't get to spend time with family, didn't get to go on those family parties or holiday trips or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, I would say yes and no at the same time, but yes for the most part, because I mean there was even holidays and stuff, you know, you don't want to work or you want to spend time with your family, but you had to go work because you want to make $1, you know. So but like I said, looking back, I wouldn't change anything at certain. I mean, it was very tough because I was working so many jobs, just trying to make ends meet for myself, but also trying to go to school at the same time. So yeah, no, looking back, there was a lot of sacrifices. I think so. I was very focused. Even when I was in school, I knew I need to, you know, get good at this business, and I just didn't know how to do it. But you know, thankfully things came around for me.
Yeah.
Is there a fixer in Southern California that Ravi B doesn't know about? Are you on top of all cities, all counties, all times?
I mean, I look at, like I said, San Bernardino, Riverside, LA, and Orange County. Like I said, whatever hits the market, where I have my tabs pretty much set up, where I pretty much see, you know, if it's
Refresh.
a fixture or not. Yeah.
What are some tools that you use that people watching, like what are some like CRMs or websites that you utilize to like analyze data?
My favorite website is for real estate is the MLS.
Okay.
You got all your data, you know, you need.
Yeah.
So it's like everything is in one place. You know, some people like to use Redfin, Zillow and stuff, but for me, it's like I like to see everything numbered, line, you know.
Yep.
So, I mean, other than that, prop stream, you know, if we really need to. But the thing I really love about, you know, MLS is because you can find cash buyers there. I've shown people how to find cash buyers where you can, you know, see if they close, find the LLC, pretty much hit them up. So when it comes to on market, it's just pretty much the MLS. I mean, we've had it, you know, set it up. We have a, you know, HubSpot CRM. So we make sure, you know, nobody is double offering on certain properties. So, you know, we stay in track. But tools wise, I would say that's pretty much it for us. I mean, for me, for now.
Yeah.
So even you keep it limited. Do you use a free version of HubSpot? Or you use paid version?
We pay for it because we got a, you know, good amount of users and stuff. But just trying to stay organized, you know. And we have constant contact for cash buyers.
That shit's important, man. Like all those tools help you stay organized and build out systems, right? So like your whole team is in the know. How many people on your team in total?
We have about, like, investment wise, we have about, I'd say 5 to I'd say around 6.
Okay. Everybody based here in Southern California, or
pretty much they're all like pretty much our age. Some of them are very like new. Some of them are done a few deals where now they want to get into this side, and the others are, you know, just like traditional agents. You know, they just kind of do their regular deals.
Yeah.
Dope, man. Cool. Any other things you want to touch on, Jeff?
Man, I mean, I think the one thing, I guess, so your setup is pretty basic. You know, you hear all these guys have these like crazy setups, you know, they skip tracing and all that. And
I mean, I know how to, I mean, tools wise, I mean, for off market, we do, you know, we do batch skip tracing, and for a dialer, we don't really have a dialer because we have cold callers that, you know, does the pre-qualifying for us. We get in a CRM, it's called Investor Fuse, and we just kind of go from there. So we have it separated where MLS stuff is kind of HubSpot, off market is kind of Investor Fuse.
Right.
We also got, you know, PPC stuff that comes in that gets thrown, you know. So I like to do business in a way until it gets complicated, keep it simple.
Yeah.
You know, people go out there and just spend this, and this when it's like you don't need all this.
Right.
Keep it simple,
Keep it
right?
simple, yeah.
Like that, everything you spend every month, like it's an overhead. If you don't need it, for what? Were you gonna use it one time?
Yeah.
You know.
So like, what's next for you guys? You said that you're gonna dabble like out of state, maybe, or different kind of up north.
Yeah, so we're considering like to go up north, like, you know, probably wholesale wise or out of state. But for me personally, you know, I've closed a good amount of deals, and I kind of know what I'm doing now. I'm kind of, you know, slowly transitioning into fix and flips, where, you know, I want to close instead of selling it to an investor. I close on it, I flip it, you know, or through partnership or whatever.
Right.
And then just kind of move my way that way, because that's always been my goal. You know, start with an agent. I became a broker now. I'm pretty much an investor now. And from there, if I choose to, you know, one day be a developer, that's where I want to go.
Nice.
So, you know, you always want to grow in your business, you know. I mean, can you be an agent? Yeah, of course. But in the long run, like, I don't know if I'm going to be in this business forever, because maybe something else might get my attention in the next like 5 years, you know. So, but whatever I do right now, I want to do it to the best of my ability, and I just want to be the best at what I do, right?
Yep.
A lot of people, like, I don't look at somebody like, oh, like, you know, I want to be like them, this and that. I respect it, I look up to them and everything, but I just want to focus on me and be the best at what I do. Because if I'm the best at what I do, like, it doesn't matter what everybody else is doing.
Yep.
You know, focus on yourself, get yourself better. And I think that's what's allowed me to be good at what I do, because rain or shine, doesn't matter. You know, I'm going to be consistent and, you know, continuously put in the work. And everybody around me knows that. You know, I'm not just I don't talk about it. It's like, you know, I show up.
Damn. You do what you say you will. I love that shit, man.
Yeah, so many people don't do that. And talk about your experience with the Airbnb, because I know you bought a property recently.
Yeah, so I bought a property, Jonathan knows, last year in Joshua Tree. That was like my first property investment. I bought it, pretty much fixed it up all by myself, you know, by myself as in, you know, I financed it, did the whole thing. It started off great, you know, but then, you know, you start to, like, when you're first hand, because I manage my own Airbnb, like I have handyman, cleaner, all that stuff, but you start to realize, like, hey, like, I mean, it's doing fine, but it's not what people say it is. Like, all these gurus are coaching. Lucrative. It's like, no, there's a lot of stuff they don't talk about. It's like, you know, dealing with guests,
stealing your stuff, staying late, this and that, like. And
you know, the thing I don't like about Airbnb, just my opinion, is you always have to be nice. Not that I don't want to, but there's certain situations where certain guests like overstay, you know, their, you know, privileges or whatever. But yet you have to be nice, because if you don't, they can just go write a bad review. Well, there goes all your, you know,
hard work.
Pretty much.
And on Airbnb, correct me if I'm wrong, anything less than 5 stars is bad.
Yeah, because you're always aiming to get 5 stars. Like us, you know, if we go buy something on Amazon, okay, we see like what those reviews look like, then we buy it. It's the same thing on Airbnb. I'm a super host, you know, I'm pretty, you know, I'm well organized. I have everything, you know, in place, but I've just learned so much, you know, and it was a great experience. You know, it's a great property. It's beautiful.
That property is for sale, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Avenida La Daga España, or La España Daga.
Yeah, it's out there. But so that property was my first property, and I put it up for sale because I'm planning to do a 1031 exchange and bring that, you know, investment this way towards Orange County, because the appreciation is much higher. Yeah. And just continues to do that, because that was my first opportunity to buy something. I bought it, got equity in there, and now it's like, okay, let's start moving it either every 2 years or whatever. And just, you know, that's, in my opinion, that's the only way that I see for myself, and, you know, other than flipping or wholesaling, to build wealth, because it's just getting harder and harder to afford in California, if you really think about it.
Hell yeah.
Are you going to take that 1031 and here are you going to buy multifamily, or are you gonna stay single family and do long-term rental, short-term rental? What's that look like?
I'm currently looking at probably like a multifamily, but it all kind of just depends. I mean, there's not much inventory available. There's something I really like, so either probably a duplex or a triplex. If not, I'm gonna put it in a single family in Orange County, where it's a great area and your appreciation's much higher.
Yeah.
So either multifamily, but
wrong.
I wouldn't move it to LA, just Orange County, because it's just a lot more appreciation.
Yeah.
What's wrong with LA, bro?
Nothing wrong with LA. It's just, I'm a little too far.
Cool, man.
Be close to the properties that you manage, right? It's always good.
Yeah, I heard that's like big. I don't know. Do you think that Joshua Tree was a little too far for your first investment property?
If I'm being honest, I would say yes.
Yeah.
Because it's a 2-hour drive from me there and a 2-hour drive from me back. So, there's been so many times that, hey, a guest complained about like, oh, I need this. Well, I'm not there. So it's not like I can just send drop it off. So you got to get creative, get Instacart, stuff like that. Or, make sure you take, walk care of your cleaners and stuff. You pay them extra so they're on call for anything. So it's helped me become better, like as a host, but also be resourceful. The last time I probably went there was 2 months ago, and thankfully, fingers crossed, I don't have to go there because I have a good team in place of, people.
Yeah.
So, yes, I would say it is far, and it's, I learned my lesson of like, what to do, what not to do. Mm-hmm. But I learned a ton, and I will use that on my next, flip or experience, whatever I decide to do.
Nice.
But, I think moving forward, like the way I would probably, I'm sure I'll own Airbnbs or whatever it is, but I would just be more happy just owning a vacation home and just kind of, if I'm not using it, you could just leave it vacant. I'd rather leave it vacant than
really.
Because like I said, all this experience with like these guests, some people like dealing with that if that's their thing. For me, I don't mind it because it's on my phone, it's my day-to-day. But I don't know, in the long run, I'm not too big of a fan of Airbnb personally. But I do it, it's fine, it's doing great. But I don't know in the future.
All right, Ravi. Well, last question, man, before we let you go. I want to ask you, I ask every guest this question. Let's take it back, right? Let's go back to Ravi B. Youngin, 3 years in the business, no deal. This guy's scratching his head. What do I do? What do I do? And if you can go back in time right now and tell your younger self something, what would you tell yourself?
Keep going. Yeah, I wouldn't change it. I would just say times are tough, but hang tight. If you really do believe in something and you're passionate, just stay at it. It'll take some time, but it'll come around. So like I said, just don't give up, and just you got to believe in yourself that you can do it, because a lot of people, expect other people to believe in them, but you got to believe in yourself.
Bam. And on that note, we'll close it out.
Cool.
Thank you, Ravi B.
Appreciate
you coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.
Where can we see you? Where can we find you on IG?
I'm on Instagram. Ravi Boopitiya is my name. So I'm just, that's
your app.
Instagram.
Dope, man. Yeah. Well, we'll put it on the screen down below, and then if you guys want, just go to my following at Flux Media USA. Search Ravi RAVI, and I'm sure he'll pop up right there.
One and only.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. You got any questions for us or for Ravi? We'll leave them down below. And other than that, we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.
Appreciate it.